Morning. Welcome back. Jack and I are up. We are in the foggy swamplands of Springfield, Louisiana. And we're about to hit up the Lynyrd Skynyrd Memorial, which is, I could take the interstate or the back highway. And at first I thought, let's take the interstate, but the back highway is literally here. So why not just take that? Last night was great. I mentioned yesterday in the helmet that I didn't know if I was going to record at this guy's house or not. And I would ask him. I never even asked. It just didn't feel like the right time or place. But we'll talk a little bit more about my first experience with Bunker Biker and the good things about it. I really feel like we might have gotten a little bit lucky. Like maybe not all hosts are the same, but it was a good time. Jack made sure the entire neighborhood knew that we were there. Jack snored. It sounded like a squadron of B-52 bombers.
And we know they're stationed in Shreveport.
Are they? Okay, so that's the call of his people. He was just letting them know, hey, I'm here. Come pick me up, big baby.
You snore pretty good yourself.
I do snore, and I said that to him last night. I'm like, bro, I know I snore, bud.
I'm pretty bad.
Like, I thought he was going to stroke out last night. That's how bad it was. Anyway, we'll see you on the road.
All right, here we go. I'm actually glad I accidentally chose this option. I mean, I chose it on purpose, but I had initially chosen to take the freeway route. And I've talked a lot about back roads, especially as it relates to Florida, the roads I ride in. Up in Georgia, if you guys were following along, a little over a year ago. Whew, how much I love back roads. So for me to even think, hey, let's take Interstate 55 up was kind of off character, off brand a little bit. We're going to check out some Louisiana back roads. Our host last night, he told us, he's like, or this morning, he said, hey, it's flat here. We don't have a whole lot of great roads, but, Highway 43 is one of them. In context, in perspective, right? I mean, Louisiana's flat. Most of these states in the South are pretty flat until you get up around the Appalachians, whatever. But, hey, but like I said, man, I don't need massive twisties and big old rolling hills to have a good time. I like scenery, old town scenery right now, and it's foggy as shit out, still wet from yesterday. Oh, Jack, where are you, bud? Son of a... Lost Jack already. Okay. Well, it's on a Mike and Jack adventure if if we don't have problems. Let's see what's going on.
Proceed to the route.
I'm proceeding somewhere. I'm going to proceed to find out what happened to Jack.
Hey, whatever we hit in the road just bounced up and I guess it knocked the spring from my kickstand. I'm pulled into the Carter supermarket where the Family Dollar was.
Do you have your spring or no?
I got to walk back and see if I can get it.
Okay, that's it. Kickstand. So I was recording. We did hit somebody lost the faceplate like off an old Magnavox TV or something. Okay, there's that thing. So let's see what we can find. Let's get up here, turn around. All right, let's see if we can find Jack's spring. All right, let's try this again. Oh, man. So fortunately, the way he stopped, there's a hardware store right there. And he went over to get a spring. We had a nice fella stop while I was on the side of the road and asked if we were okay. Told him what was going on. He checked all over his car for a spring. Told us there was a hardware store. For now, we got a makeshift spring. Jack's got it on there. It's a little smaller than it's supposed to be. But he's got it on there and he's got it secured with zip ties. Worst case scenario, we can find other springs out there. Oh, what a trip, man. What an absolute trip. He didn't do anything wrong there. We ran over an oven door, which is like, why the f*** is there an oven door in the road? Who knows? Okay, so where was I? Oh, we're in a town called Albany. I wonder if they say Albany like the Georgians do. It's a cute little town of Albany. Albany, if you're Georgian. I don't know what they say in Louisiana. They probably got some weird French pronunciation like La Française fromage d'Albany.
Je m'appelle. Je m'appelle. Mais poupou.
Pour chapeau, fromage d'Albany. I have no idea. I'm taking some few French words that I know and I'm just mashing them. I mean, obviously, if you speak French and you're offended by anything that I just said right now, good. Oh boy! So a lot of you guys know that. A lot of you guys are Lynyrd Skynyrd fans. You guys know I'm a Lynyrd Skynyrd. I mean, I just came 650 miles to Louisiana, up this way, just so I could come up to the Lynyrd Skynyrd Memorial. So big fan. Obviously, it's just a. So God, these bumps, dude. Use your tax dollars. Holy shit. Anyway, came 650 miles to come up to this monument. I was going to ride somewhere anyway, but so what they were heading out of Greenville, South Carolina. That was the last show they played, and they were flying down to Baton Rouge, which from here on the road is about an hour drive. So on an airplane, as the crow flies, I'm assuming they weren't very far out. Half hour, maybe. And their plane went down. So it's like, damn, man, they were almost there. And I often wonder, like, if they were still around, the Lynyrd Skynyrd that exists today is not Lynyrd Skynyrd. I call them a good cover band at best. They have Gary Rossington, who's one of the original members. They've got Johnny Van Zant, who's Ronnie's brother, but it's not Lynyrd Skynyrd, man. And every song that people know from Lynyrd Skynyrd came out in the real era, right? They made 5 total albums. I really only care for 4 of those albums because when they lost, well, 3 actually. The 4th one was kind of like, whatever. When they lost Ed King, when he quit, they did that whole album, Give Me Back My Bullets, with 2 guitarists, which is not Lynyrd Skynyrd style at all. And then they picked up Steve Gaines and recorded Street Survivors down in Miami. And I just didn't care for it. I don't care for how Street Survivors sound. Part of the sound of Lynyrd Skynyrd was recording in those little recording studios in Muscle Shoals up in Atlanta. That sounded like Lynyrd Skynyrd to me. Street Survivors, if you listen to it, it's just too clean. It's too well put together. It's in terms of sound engineering. I don't like that. I like the albums, especially Second Helping and Nothing Fancy. The way those 2 albums sound, to me, that's the Lynyrd Skynyrd sound. That's just me, my opinion. Other people might disagree. Plus, without having Ed King there to help write some of the licks and the riffs, some of those riffs just didn't sound the same. You know what I'm saying? You missed his creative influence, in the writing process. So, anyway, yeah, we're headed up. We've got 40-something miles, 45 miles up this highway. It's backcountry Louisiana. I'm going to enjoy it. I want to throw some tunes. We'll see you up at the crash site. Unless some wild thing happens with Jack's bike or my bike, we have to stop on the side of the road again. We'll see you down there.
I was walking out one evening late. The moon was rising high. Headed for the riverside. Around us fuss and fight. Patrolman, he walked by. Asked me where I'm going. Said if the sun set on me there, I'd never make it home. He said, don't go downtown tonight. There's trouble on the rise. The bad men in the shadows, and they're bound to take your life. If you mind to ramble, I'll tell you how I do. Keep your money in your pocket, then the razor in your shoe.
All right, we are here. Well, let me tell you what, man. Louisiana and Arkansas need to get together and figure out who's got the worst roads, because, hey, we can't keep combining them, or we can't keep fighting that way. There it is. Holy, this is right here. Okay. Nobody's here. How about that? Nobody's here. Look at that. These woods are dense, boys. I mean, absolutely dense. All right. We'll see you up on the road.
Boys, here it is. I mean, you can look this up anywhere on the internet, right? But it's pretty cool. You look at, you read these, talks a little bit about, the plane crash itself there on that one. Talks about the rise of the band here. Well, actually, no, this is actually both of these, 1 and 2, both of those look like recounts of the crash. And then on the back, we walked around back here and seen this one. They got these portraits. of the band members who died. Steve Gaines, Cassie Gaines, his sister. There's a picture of the band and the plane. Then Van Zant, band manager. Just somber, man. You know what I mean? Here's a list of all the passengers. It's wild. Absolutely wild. They got a little guest book over there. Jack and I both signed. They said, hey, make sure you check in on Facebook. I guess they keep up with that. See who's there. Not a bad idea. I thought I was going to be ballsy and walk back here to the actual crash site, which is back here in these woods. Problem is, there's a lot of no trespassing, keep out signs. And while I am pretty adventurous, and I don't know if I'll ever get back here again, country folks and their no trespassing private property, they take that shit pretty seriously. And I bet they get real tired of people ignoring that and coming back here. So I know if it was me, I'd probably call the cops on me or take care of it myself. I don't know. We'll see how I feel in a minute. All right, so I ignored the no trespassing signs temporarily. And I get back here and I realize there's somebody's house right over here. So I'm not going to risk it anymore. But it's interesting. They know people are going to ignore the trespassing signs because they've got this. They are highly trained and have successfully found over 2/3 of those lost. That's pretty funny. We're going to call it quits here. I was going to try to find the actual crash site. That's the memorial. The crash site's back here, supposedly not very far at all from where I'm standing. But I don't want to look for it. I don't know what I'm looking for. And somebody's house is there. So with all the no trespassing, probably their house. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth the risk. But man, just knowing that you guys are going to think I'm real corny. A lot of you guys are going to think I'm real corny for this, but just knowing that, like, for me, one of the greatest bands that ever lived died right back here. You know what I'm saying? A couple of them anyway. It's very somber thought. I'm going to get a few shots up here of the memorial itself, and then we'll hit the road. I think Jack and I are going to hit up Baton Rouge, check into our Airbnb, and then head down to NOLA.
All right, here we go. I was going to do some Instagram video out here, or a live video, or FaceTime my wife, or something. But there's no cell phone signal out here. I would imagine that's why in 1977, when they crashed, they had to walk and find somewhere to help them, because they didn't have cell phone signal. This is wild, man. They ain't out here. This is backcountry nothing. Out of all the technology and advancement over the years, Gillsburg, Mississippi, Magnolia, Mississippi was left somewhere in probably 1978. But yeah, we're about in line now where that plane would have been coming through. I know they were shooting for a field and they overshot it. This is probably it. That's crazy, man. It's just crazy to me that my favorite band in history died right over there. Wild. I'm glad their music lives on. Not the whole band. So let's be clear. So it's unfortunate that 6 people died that day. But the band members, Steve Gaines, who was Ed King's replacement, and his sister Cassie Gaines, the rest of them were 2 pilots. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 2 pilots and the manager. So, well, yeah, you can mourn the loss of everyone, but the 3 band members were probably the most, to me, the most significant. How do you place value on one person's life over the other? Probably not fair to do that, but to me, they were making the music, man. So that's who I'm impacted the most by. So the little town we're staying in tonight is called Gonzales, Louisiana. About an hour away. And it's not that far. For what in the Sam hell is going on up here? What is this? Peacocks and peahens, baby. Oh, get out of here. Look at all these sons. Are they turkeys? Okay. Like a partridge family? Anyway, it's not that far from Baton Rouge. Like, especially, we can't check in till 3. It's almost 1 now. We've got a little over an hour to get to Baton Rouge, Harley-Davidson. And we're going to see, I'm going to stop up here somewhere with better signal, right by the freeway, I think. I'm going to call Baton Rouge, Harley-Davidson, and see if they have that kickstand spring for him. Because while he does have a fix in place currently, it's not ideal. It's random ass little spring from the hardware store in Bump, Louisiana, and some zip ties hold the spring together because it won't stretch all the way to the places where it's supposed to mount. So I'm going to call them, make sure A, they're open because it's New Year's Eve, and B, make sure they have that spring for him there. So anyway, we'll see you on the road. I'm sure I'll turn the camera back on between here and there.
Going down, no stars in the sky. I'ma head down the road, across county line, where they roll up the smoke. They pour beer and wine, and hearts break on the jukebox, where the neon stars shine.
We had a little bit of time to kill. What better way to kill time than to go further west than we had originally anticipated? We're in Baton Rouge, and it smells like poop here. So my wife is an LSU fan, unreasonably so. And I'll tell you how she got there. The day that I moved from the east side to Arizona to be with her in 2001, the University of Tennessee and LSU were playing football, and there was no internet on the phones back then. So I had a cell phone, and I would call her every now and then and ask her to watch the game for me. And she would. And from that day forward, in 2001, she's liked LSU. How cool would it be just to who swings by Baton Rouge? But swing by Baton Rouge, get some video of the stadium, take a couple pictures before we head over to our Airbnb. It just so happens that our Airbnb room is only like 20-25 minutes away from the stadium. So it really is kind of swinging by, and I'm happy to do it. She's excited that I'm doing stuff like that for her. If I can find something that's open so I can pick her up an LSU t-shirt or something while I'm here, why not, right? You only get married once, unless it's more than once. Then you get married more than once, but let's see what we can find. We are down here. We're at LSU. We're like 1.4 miles away. And the roads in Louisiana do suck. I have mentioned that a couple times. It's like they get a little nicer as you get closer to the college. Almost like they don't want mommy and daddy's tax monies going to waste. Like, oh, look at our school. Look how nice the roads here are around our school only. There it is. Look at that. Louisiana State University. How about that? I love Southern college campuses. Tennessee, obviously, where I'm from. LSU's pretty. It's the first time I've been down here. Gainesville's pretty. Florida, God bless your hearts. I've never been to Alabama. I've been to Athens. Good God. Well, okay. So they're taking care of mommy and daddy's money near LSU, but not on it. Oh, they're going to send me somewhere where I have to have a gate or something. I have to have a pass. No, we're just going to go through there. What are they going to say? You can't come through here? Yes. I mean, they literally could. Oh, Tallahassee. That's another pretty one. I can't stand Florida State. I really do hate Florida State a lot. And there for a while, I couldn't decide who I hated more, Florida or Florida State. It's definitely Florida State. But the Tallahassee area, I mean, around FSU is beautiful. Now, my wife and I both attended. We graduated from Arizona State University. And while there is a college feel to it, something I mentioned a long time ago on a video that's actually listed as private on another channel, I talked about, the big difference between colleges in the South versus colleges out West is that out West, we were in Phoenix. That's a big city. A lot of these colleges out West are big cities. Berkeley's not, but you get the picture. Here, they're, little bitty old towns where there's not really a whole lot going on. There's no NFL around here. There's not, you've got the NBA Pelicans. I think they're over in New Orleans, but they weren't there years ago. So, and they live and breathe their college sports, and their campuses are a reflection. Oh, there it is. Look at that. What a beautiful stadium. Now, talking about my wife being an LSU fan for no really good reason, sometimes there's disagreements on who we think should win on different games, but LSU is one of those teams in this SEC that I don't mind. You know what I mean? Look for somewhere I can get a better picture.
Turn right onto West Stadium Drive. Then the destination is on your right.
Oh, thank you, Siri, for letting me know that the destination is on my right. I clearly, How can you miss it? Actually, my wife did miss it when we moved over here. Look at this. Would you look at this? The things we do for our spouses. No idea. No idea, Siri, that the destination was on the right. Thank you for all your efforts.
Hey, like I told my wife, I don't know who swings by Baton Rouge real quick, but we did. The Red Stick, Baton Rouge. All these French people. I think it's pretty cool, man. I think it's pretty cool. We're only about 25 minutes away from our Airbnb, so not really that far out of the way. It's about 15 minutes before we can check in anyway, so we'll probably get there, I don't know, around 3:30, I guess. And then head to New Orleans. It's about an hour ride. We'll still have a tiny bit of daylight left. I want to unload all my shit because New Orleans is not the safest place in the world to be. And I don't want anything to be jacked off my bike. I do want things to be jacked off, but not. Never mind. All right, made it to our Airbnb in Gonzales, Louisiana. And the front house is an Airbnb. It used to be an old country store back in the 1920s. Really freaking cool. And then you got this, they're calling it the rustic cabin. But this front house is also a former clubhouse for a law enforcement motorcycle club. It's the first time I've ever met an Airbnb host. They met us here, took us up front, got us a beer out of the bar, chatted with them for a little bit. I'm telling you, man, some real friendly people down here in Louisiana. I would never live here, but it's been a real good Southern hospitality type experience coming here so far. We've now been to the murder capital of the U.S. in Baton Rouge. And we're going to its twin murder city, New Orleans, tonight. So what could possibly go wrong?
All right, next up, New Orleans. Assuming I can back out of this gravel. We're going to be getting into New Orleans probably either as it's getting dark or right after. It says an hour and 12 minutes away. We'll see. I confirmed with Jack a little bit ago that both of us agree that we are not the I need to be out partying when the ball drops kind of people, which is good. We got an hour in New Orleans. We'll get some food. We'll take in some festivities. And who knows? We may be back by midnight, which I'm not really all that opposed to, honestly. I know my videos and Instagram stories, if you follow me there, I just look like this wild party guy, blah, blah, blah. Not really all the time. A lot of times I'd just rather be in my house, cozy, drinking coffee, sodas, eating popcorn with my grandson, boring grandpa, because realistically, that's what I am. Obviously, I record some of the highlights of my life, even though I know New Orleans is a very high crime rate city. I know that already coming here. Everybody we mention New Orleans to today is like, watch out for New Orleans, man, murder capital, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you hear it so much throughout the day, it's like, shit, should we even be going? We're going to go. I really suspect we're not going to find convenient parking, and it makes me nervous, leaving the bike out somewhere. Thankfully, I verified with, on Jack's bike, he emptied out his top box, and both of our helmets will fit in there, so I don't have to lug this thing around the whole time, which is a real benefit. It's a real plus. I'm still getting used to turning on this bike. Last time I mentioned that, it was on a short. I got a lot of people commenting with tips on how to turn. And while I didn't ask for that, if you're trying to be helpful, I can appreciate that. I think I nailed down what it is I'm not 100% comfortable with. I honestly think what it has to do with is how wide that tire is, in fact. That's the widest tire that I've had. And it wasn't until last night, actually, that I think that's the case. And the reason I think that is because the guy that we stayed with at, I'm just going to call it Build-A-Bear, man, because I want to. The guy that I always naturally try to say Build-A-Bear. The guy that we stayed with had a chopper, like a 2005 era chopper. That's back when the tires were super fat, the brakes were really long. And I looked at that tire and I told Jack, I'm like, yeah, those things are really hard to turn on. I'm like, wait a second. That's one thing about this Fetzer. It's the widest Harley-Davidson tire that I've ever had, ever. It's quite a stark contrast from cornering on the Goldwing, which is really pretty easy to do, honestly. It takes curve really well for a big-ass heavy bike. Anyway, let's enjoy this sunset, head down to New Orleans, hopefully find a place to park. Going to try for 2 nights in a row of not getting murdered, and we'll see you in the French Quarter.
All right, so after nearly getting killed 37 times on I-10, we finally made it French Quarter. Which is crazy because I don't even have a quarter right now.
What do you like about the French?
Who said I do?
Well, just kissing.
Okay. Is that really French? Fries.
Well, no, they changed that though. Isn't it freedom fries now?
Freedom fries. I always like it down here. Again, just for mostly the music and the food, but we're gonna get into all that. Not the French kissing or the French fries. But if I
have French fries.
But if I find quarter, I'm gonna check, see if it's French or not. I have a feeling the quarters here are American, just like quarters we have in Tampa. So interesting enough, the last time I was here, 2018, me and my buddy ate at this spot, but it was dark then. It was like a low-lit restaurant. It's just called like the 424 Sea House. Well, here 424 Seafood Market. And I didn't mean to come all the way to Bourbon Street to eat, but here we are. It is a madhouse out there. And for somebody who doesn't like crowds, maybe this wasn't one of my best ideas. It wasn't my idea. We look homeless in here. Well, we actually fit into New Orleans because most of the New Orleans residents, in my experience, are homeless. So, just locals. Hey, we're going to tell them it's our anniversary or our honeymoon, so see if we can get a discount. Yeah. It's strategy. I'm playing the long game. Always playing the long game. Okay, so both of us got red beans and rice with andouille, but he got chicken. We're going to see how this is. I got to cut up my sausage. All right, here we go. Ready? Okay, superb.
Superb.
With an asterisk. Here's why. I know this is probably not the best example, but for somebody who doesn't have it all the time, this is pretty good. So I'm gonna tear this shit up and then get out of here. Absolutely wild. Bourbon Street's always busy, but it's New Year's Eve. It's not even late yet. It's like 7 o'clock, 7:30. That lady just got free beads. I didn't see no old. I don't know how she got them beads. See, Jack is an absolute trooper. We're at Cafe Du Monde, which is a requirement. You can't miss this when you come to New Orleans. It's donuts and coffee. And stand in line for it. A big ass line. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. And he'll see. They don't have beer here though. Just donuts and coffee. Donuts and coffee. All right, Jack's first time, Cafe Du Monde. Beignet, the Cafe au lait. Jack is originally from Tampa, and if you didn't know that, now you do. Give me your complete and thorough review.
I like that thing you get at the fair.
A funnel cake? Basically, these things are like fat funnel cakes, okay? If you've never had a beignet before, shame on you. Oh, superb. Oh my God. Yeah, baby. Somehow Jack and I found like the only empty dive bar in the entire French Quarter. To get Miller Lite, we've ridden a lot of miles in the last 2 days. We rode the last hour to get here. There are no street musicians, and I'm very disappointed in that. I can't express how disappointed I am in that. That's why I come to New Orleans. There's not one. Actually, there is one. Guy in a wheelchair playing trumpet. All right, y'all, that is going to wrap this one up. How fitting. Today's January 21st, and how fitting that the day I'm editing and filming this outro. Similar weather conditions that we had most of the day in Mississippi and Louisiana. As I'm editing this, keep in mind that the Gold Wing giveaway is still going on. Out of 200 stickers, we have about 100 left. We're going to hear more about that from some others over the next few days, or maybe you heard it yesterday. So I'm expecting in the next couple weeks we're going to have all those stickers sold, and I'm going to draw the name, and somebody out there is going to win the Gold Wing and a trip to Tampa, or cause me to make a trip to wherever you are. But anyway, thanks for coming along, sticking around for this one, and as always, see you later.